Good morning, Flosstube. Get my brain back around this one. I'm noticing there's some holes I needed to fill in there. Let's see. I'm back with what will become, I guess, a regular Stitch With Me video. It is 9:44 a.m. on Thursday, June 7th, 67 degrees here in Maryland. It is exactly 20 days until my oldest son turns 22. So, let's see. Woke up with a bit of a headache this morning and feeling kind of icky because of it. So if I seem a little less perky, I'm sure you can hear it in my voice if I seem a little less perky. That is why. Yeah, just kind of feeling a little icky. Had breakfast and I was hoping that would settle my stomach a bit. We shall see. I had a whole list of things to talk about and all my brain is just like, you want me to do what? I don't feel like it. Let's see. We'll start with Sasha. Sasha, we have his glucose levels evened out now, I believe, with the insulin. And that we're getting into a routine. We're still forgetting. There's some evenings that we get late, but for the most part, and he doesn't have a problem with it at all. But we took another urine sample in yesterday, and it seems that he now has some bacteria in his urine, so we'll be giving him an antibiotic here starting today, and then do another urine sample. Let's see where we are after that, because he's still really drinking and, of course, then peeing an awful lot. So we are not comfortable that everything is as it should be with the little muplet, as we call them. Let's see, I'm counting here. My brain really just is not very happy this morning. So on my agenda today, I have going to my stylist today to get a haircut and the blue color put back in. You may remember that my stylist's shop is in the town Ellicott City that got flooded so badly over Memorial Day weekend. She is working out of another salon in a town nearby. Another salon basically adopted her and her stylist. I assume they're renting the chairs or something like that. I will know more today about how she's doing. And I assume that we're still going to do the color. I assume that they'll be able to do the full service that they usually do. So we shall see. I'm going to be getting more color in my hair this time. The last time it was kind of a test to see if I'd like it, and the answer to that is yes, I do. So we're going to do more this time, and it'll be interesting to see if it lasts longer. Hopefully it'll last longer. If it doesn't, if it still fades rather quickly, then I won't do it again, because I'm not going to keep throwing money away like that. Let's see. Also spent the morning playing with yarn. There's a couple new mystery knit-alongs that are starting soon. One by Kristen Kapoor, whose name on Ravelry is Through the Loops. She does yearly mystery knit-alongs. Pretty shawls, usually. I assume that's what this one is. And so hers is a two color. She wanted us to pick two colors. And so I went through my yarn, two colors that are not variegated or speckled, just pretty much solids. So I went through my bins this morning and picked out some combinations that I think will work. I have to post those on her Ravelry group and see what she thinks. And then Casapinka is doing a mystery knit-along in July. That one starts July 19th. And hers calls for using 12 mini skeins. And she's kind of teamed up with Miss Babs, which she does a lot. And so the Miss Babs mini skeins are a bit bigger. So she's looking for mini skeins that are like 120 yards or so. The mini skeins that I have, as I've been a member of the Space Cadet Mini Skein Club for a number of years. I actually canceled before we moved back up here from Sarasota, but I have a ton of their mini skeins. So I'm actually going to be using 20. I'll show a picture of that and talk more about that in my update next week. I already posted a picture of my chosen ones on her Ravelry group, so hopefully I'll get some feedback on that here at some point today. So yeah, this morning I spent basically playing with yarn, which is never a bad thing to do when one isn't feeling well. And oh my goodness, I'm having a hot flash. Oh God. Yeah, I love this time of life. I wish you could do hot flashes on demand, boy. There are times when I'm chilly that I wish I could just snap my fingers and have a hot flash come on. But unfortunately, the body does not work that way. Oh, let's see what else. We went to see Infinity War on Tuesday and came out depressed. For those that have seen Infinity War, you know why. I guess we'll have to wait till the next episode in that saga to find out what in the world is going on. They certainly keep me coming back for more, that's for sure. Like I said, I had a whole bunch of things to talk about, and my brain's just not together today. See, this is why I need to make notes. So before I go to the hair salon, I will be going to my local, to my LNS, the Stitching Post, just to pick up some floss that I need. So even though I'm out of my budget, that's too bad. I'll just pick up a few things, honey. Really, really. Really, hopefully, yeah, I'll just pick up a few things. I don't need a whole bunch more. I had somebody actually ask on one of my last videos about the way I stitch with the over-dyed flosses. I forget which one, which video it was and which one I was working on, but Debbie Brandenburg, I believe Brandenburg's the last name, had asked me if I stitch back and forth with the variegated floss, because in that particular video I probably was. So my answer, I thought I'd share my answer with you guys. The answer is that I vary it. It depends. It's basically a case-by-case basis. As you can see with this piece, I'm not. Because this one, I think you can see, this is Midnight, Geno Art Sampler Thread Midnight. Did I ever tell you? I didn't tell you what I was stitching on, did I? Indigo Lane, Brenda Gervais. Tamara Bowen has asked, she's going to be attending the DC Metro Stitchers meetup on Sunday, and she asked me to bring this along. So I thought I would stitch a little bit more on it just so I have more done to show her. But anyway, so what I'm using here, and this is the called for thread, is Geno Art Sampler Thread Midnight. And you can see that there is quite a bit of variegation, tonal variegation in this floss. This one up here, I forget which one that is, and I think that wasn't the called for one. Crystal Lake, maybe. There isn't as much. There is some, a little bit, and I don't remember whether, I probably still just did one by one up there. But anyways, I say that I vary the way I do it because it depends on, for me, for the most part, how much color change there is within the floss. If there is not a lot of color change, or if for some reason, like if I'm only doing a couple stitches with it, or for some reason I don't care about the variegation showing, then I will just stitch back and forth, you know, one leg and then the other leg. So it's when I care about the variegation showing, or there is quite a bit of color change, that's when I'll stitch one stitch at a time. So it just depends on what's happening in the pattern. Sometimes it depends on what I feel like doing too. The Harbor Haven, because I'm doing 1/1 on such a small count, for some of those, like I'm using old hickory in some places, and there's quite a bit of color change in that. Even with that, because it is hard going over one on a linen, to do over one without having the thread slip underneath, without having the floss slip underneath the linen threads, I may still go back and forth one leg at a time with that. I do try, if I'm using on the 1/1 and I'm using a floss that I do want to have the color change show, I try and stitch diagonally, because I can do one stitch at a time diagonally and I don't have to worry about the thread slipping under the linen threads. Does that make sense? I change the way I'm stitching, basically. The direction I'm stitching, I guess. So hope that made sense and that helped. Let's see. Watched a bunch of Flosstube yesterday trying to catch up. I discovered last night that I have got to watch Farm Girl's tutorial on dyeing. Misty Purcell posted on Instagram last night, or at some point yesterday, some fabric that she dyed using Rit dye, and it turned out absolutely gorgeous. I mean, really, really pretty. And she used the Rit dyes, and it's making me think, you know, I've kind of had it in the back of my head a little bit since I did that little piece of tea coffee dye a couple weeks ago for one of my Mania starts, that, you know, might be kind of interesting to see if, you know, what I think about it. And also with the idea looking ahead to living in Hawaii, I don't know how easy, and of course, what are the shipping costs going to be? I don't know how easy it's going to be to get stuff there, and what are the shipping costs going to be? There is this cross-stitch store. Of course, I don't know, you know, what all that store carries. So I may just start dyeing my own. But like I said, I'll have to look at that video. That's what Misty used to learn to dye hers. And like I said, she said it was an excellent tutorial, so I need to check that out. But yesterday I kind of spent the day, it was a stitching day. Didn't have a whole lot to run around and do yesterday. Didn't do a video yesterday, of course, so I didn't have that to do. So I just kind of spent the day on the couch stitching and knitting. And let's see, worked on Harbor Haven in the morning, worked on Hoity Toity in the afternoon, picked up the stitches for the sleeve for that sweater yesterday evening. So it was a very craft-filled day. And worked on my caramelized cowl in the morning. So all kinds of different fun projects yesterday. I like those kind of days. Today I worked on my caramelized cowl already this morning. I got my hour of, well, not quite an hour, but almost an hour of knitting in on that this morning. And then other than this, I won't have a whole lot more stitching time again today until I get back from my appointment, which will be probably pretty close to dinner time. So we'll see. Maybe I'll just keep working on this afternoon, because this is a pretty easy stitch, you know, compared to Harbor Haven. And that way I can get more of this done. Tamara has asked me to take this and Hoity Toity and Harbor Haven to the meetup with me on Sunday. So I'll have a little bit of a show and tell thing going there. So that'll be fun. I don't know whether that's what people usually do, but I guess it doesn't matter. And I also was planning on taking my Do Re Mi piece, the Sing a Sampler series by Silver Creek Samplers. There's that phrase again. Haven't had to say that in a while. I was going to take that one to stitch on, but maybe I'll just take this one. It'd be fun to get this done. I actually have to look at the threads and see if there's any. I've substituted a lot in this one, but I want to see, since I'm going to the store today, see if there's any that maybe I'd rather get the called for ones rather than substituting. So we shall see. It's so pretty. Look at that center medallion. Isn't that pretty? I love Quakers. Love, love, love. And combine Quakers with blues and greens, and Brenda Gervais hit it out of the ballpark with this design. So let's see, what else? I'm starting to rethink how I'm storing my stuff. I think I want to find some kind of shelving unit with drawers maybe to get before we move to Hawaii. Just to have things stored nicer than just a bunch of bins sitting on the floor. And I did find something at IKEA that might work. I think what we'll do, we also want to find, we don't have any outdoor furniture here. We do have a little balcony that we could put a little table and 2 chairs on, and we've just never done that. I'm sure whatever we get in Hawaii will have some outdoor space. And we're thinking it might be better to buy the stuff here and have it included in our household goods rather than trying to get it there. Although I'm sure they have a lot. You know, it's funny, Mike and I were talking about this yesterday. And I said, you know, when I think about stores that sell outdoor furniture type of things, the things that leap immediately to mind, there's like 50, as you can imagine, there's like 50 bazillion stores lining the streets of Sarasota selling outdoor furniture. And of course, you can go to any of a dozen consignment stores, furniture consignment stores, and find outdoor furniture in good shape. Because, you know, you figure all the condo units that are down there, they refurnish those every 2 or 3 years. And all that furniture goes to consignment stores. So, of course, there's a big market for it down there. Here, I'm trying to think. And I'm thinking like, okay, Lowe's and Home Depot. I can think of one of the bigger greenhouse places, you know, plant type, nursery type places down in close to Annapolis that probably has outdoor furniture, but we'd be paying an arm and a leg there. It's just, you know, it's so prolific in Sarasota that when I think of it, all I can think of is places in Sarasota. So, of course, maybe that's because my heart and my brain are still in Sarasota. But anyway, we're going to be looking for that kind of stuff, and we don't have a date yet. We're still waiting on HR to do whatever it is they need to do before sending Mike the official "you've been accepted" announcement. Oh, I just realized I'm going back and forth, aren't I? Oh my. So yeah, we're still waiting for that before we can get an official date. but we are definitely thinking along the lines of what we need. And, you know, since there's I don't remember the number, there's a huge amount of, like, they put a number on how many tons of household goods you can, it's not tons, I don't remember the number, pounds, that you can take with you, that they'll ship for you. Like, they'll ship one vehicle and they'll ship a certain number of pounds. And we are way, way, way under that number because we do live in a 2-bedroom apartment and we have pared down so much. So, in that regard, it makes sense to go ahead and, you know, get what we need and just have it all shipped out with our household goods. So yeah, we're thinking along those lines at this point. Thinking about how we're going to handle mail and mail forwarding, and because we'll basically be homeless for like 2 weeks on this side of things, as we I think we're given 20 days to get our affairs here settled. For us, that will mean getting out of the apartment once the movers come. And then, hold on one second, let me see what I'm doing. So from here, we have this one, and this one, and this one. So once the movers come and pack us out, then I think we have 20 days to kind of wrap up things here. And what that will entail for us is getting in the RV and driving out to Hawaii. That would be a bit of a wet drive, wouldn't it? Driving out to Arizona, where we're storing the RV. And then once we get into Hawaii, we're given 30 days to find housing there. So we'll be in temporary housing, some sort of, don't know, apartment, hotel. I don't know what that means, really, what our options are. But we won't have a set address basically for a couple months. So we'll probably just have all of our mail forwarded to Mike's parents in Arizona. We're also going to take all of our winter stuff, winter clothes, and store them in the RV, as we won't need them in Hawaii, so there's no reason to take them out there. Probably get those vacuum seal bags, and I hope all my woolen stuff, all my knitwear will be okay. That's something I'm going to have to investigate. So, let's see. So, going around on Flosstube is a new tag. Emily C. started a new tag. And I've noticed several people have done it, so I thought I would start answering those questions for you, except I have to bring it up because, for heaven's sake, see? And look, my floss is flying all around because I don't have a Bitsy Bob for this project. Anyways, I have to bring my iPad back up and get to the questions. There we go. There's a lot of them. Some of them are irrelevant to me, so I won't answer all of them. But, see if I can answer and do this at the same time. Let me figure out where I'm going first here. So that is down there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know for sure. That's that. That's that. So I need 2 more down here. Okay. So the first question is, what is your favorite cereal? And this is one of those that I kind of consider irrelevant because I'm gluten intolerant. So cereal doesn't play a big role in my life. There are some gluten-free granolas that I can eat. I like the Kind brand, both their bars and their granola. And of course, I like the dark chocolate. I found another type of granola at, I don't know whether it was at Wegmans or Giant, which is the local grocery here, that it's also like a ancient grains with chia and that kind of thing, but it's dark chocolate with sea salt. That's become a little bit like crack for me, and I just eat that by the handfuls, for better or worse, right? So yeah, cereal, whatever. What are your favorite pizza toppings? Now that I can get behind, even though I do have a problem with pizza, of course, because of the crust. Both Papa John's and Domino's have gluten-free crust, so I can still eat pizza. And my favorite toppings are mushrooms and onions and pepperoni. So pretty average, pretty standard. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. Okay, next question. You're on death row. What is your last meal? That's a hard one. And I could say being gluten intolerant, my last meal might just be to pig out on gluten. But instead, I guess it would help if I stayed on camera. You're not doing this just to, oh, I guess you are doing this just to hear me talk because you're stitching or knitting too, right? But instead, I would say my last meal would involve ice cream. I would just have them bring me, I don't even know what brand I would tell them, but if it was coffee with some kind of toffee in it or whatever mix-ins, maybe some brownies since I can't have brownies anymore. Well, not gluten brownies. There you go. I could combine that. I could have ice cream and then put like graham crackers and brownies and, you know, all the kind of things that I can't eat now. So, yeah, my last meal would definitely involve ice cream. Let's see. Who would play you in a movie about your life? Well, I think Sandra Bullock. She's funny, she's whimsical, she knows how to have fun. Yeah, heck, why not? And, or maybe, what was the other one? Lily Tomlin. I really like Lily Tomlin. She makes me crack up. So yeah, some kind of comedian, definitely, who doesn't take life seriously. Does that sound good? Okay, I agree. Let's see. What food items do you sneak into the movie theater in your purse? I don't. We don't usually eat in the theater. If we do, we just get popcorn. I would say if I were going to sneak something, though, it'd be probably something like M&Ms or my favorite movie treat is nonpareils, you know, those chocolate pieces with the little white candy dots on the top. Dark chocolate, of course, the darker the better. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of boring that way. I don't usually sneak stuff. I just take it in, I'm bold about it. No. What is your perfect vacation? This isn't hard for people to guess, I don't think. Put me and Mike and the cats in the RV and just let us go. Just driving around the country, stopping wherever, exploring the byways and parks and green spaces and all the little things that make up this wonderful country of ours. That doesn't take much. Just getting out and about with my honey, seeing the world. Of course, I wouldn't mind going to Phuket either. All right, that's a bit of a divergence, isn't it? Phuket or the RV going around the United States. All right. I'm eclectic, what can I say? Oh, I'm sorry. You're stuck on a deserted island and can have 5 things. What do you have? Well, number 1 is my husband. I don't know whether he qualifies as a thing or not, but yeah, with him around, I'd be okay. My cross stitch and an endless supply thereof. Water. And an endless supply thereof. Let's see. Probably need some kind of endless supply of food, but, you know, if Mike could catch fish or some crabs, kind of like Castaway, we'd be okay. Yeah, whatever. Maybe a book or two. I don't care. I have Diana Gabaldon's Outlander. How about that? And Mike's books. There we go. Was that 5? I don't know. I don't take it too seriously. If you could have a reproduction style chart with any theme possible, what would the theme be? A reproduction style chart with any theme possible. Am I doing this right, people? Okay, I'm there. Yeah, now I do there. Okay. A reproduction style chart with any theme possible. I don't know. I don't do reproduction, so it's not something I really even care to answer. Am I bad because I don't care to answer all the questions? Is there like some kind of Flosstube rule that says if you're going to do these tags, you better answer all the questions because they're meant to be perplexing? I don't know. That's too bad. Arrest me. What is your strangest travel experience? Bonus points if you've ever spent time in a foreign jail. Well, I can pretty much promise I've never spent time in a foreign jail. But my strangest travel experience, I do have a strange one. So I was in Bangladesh on TDY, temporary duty, for, I was probably only there for maybe a week to prepare and then do it and then leave. And we had a driver who would pick us up at the hotel and take us to the office and bring us home. And the period I was there, Bangladesh, if you don't know, is a Muslim country. And the period I was there, they were celebrating one of the Eids. I don't think, it might have been Eid al-Fitr. I'm not sure. But anyway, we were coming home from the office the one day and driving through a residential neighborhood. And whatever Eid this was, it was one, and maybe they do this for all of them, I'm not sure, where they slaughter a calf, I believe, to celebrate. And so there were multiple homes in this development, residential neighborhood, where people were slaughtering the calf out in their driveway. And so, this beast was laying in their driveway and the blood was running down into the gutter, running along the sides of the street. A very interesting look at another culture that isn't necessarily something you're going to see here in the States. But that whole time in Bangladesh, and I've spent a number of times in India, I have never felt worried for my safety as a woman when I've been in India. In Bangladesh, I would not go out by myself as a woman. So, very, very different culture for me to be in. Now, this was back in 92, 93, somewhere in there, early 90s, so it's been a while. But anyways, yeah, I've traveled a lot. That was a weird thing to see. Or not weird, it was just different than what we're used to, right? So, let's see. What are you saving money for right now? More cross stitch? Duh. We're not really, I keep going off screen, I'm sorry. If you're talking about the bigger we, I don't know that we're saving money in general, but I don't know that there's anything in particular. It's kind of a conundrum going to Hawaii, because it is so remote. We're going to go to the other islands, definitely, and explore the other islands as much as possible, and of course explore Oahu as well. because we are halfway across the ocean at that point, we would like to do a trip to Australia. I mean, it kind of would be stupid not to. But by the same token, we also want to come back to the States on, whatever long time off. And of course, Mike has his leave. He has to, make sure he has enough leave for anything like this. But we do want to come back to the States, and maybe take like a 2-week vacation every year just to go out in the RV every year. And, he only gets so much leave, so he's probably worried about saving leave more than we are worried about saving money at this point. But it's kind of a conundrum because we do want to come back. I'm sure Mike's parents, if they are physically capable, will be coming out to Hawaii to visit us, and maybe that's what all this will predicate on, if they've been able to come and visit us. If not, then we definitely have to come back to the States and see them, whenever we can. So I'd like to say we're going to be saving money and leave to travel to Hawaii. We'll already be in Hawaii, to travel to Australia. But yeah, only time is really going to tell what life is going to be like for us out there, and what the possibilities are. I'd also kind of like to make a trip to Japan, if possible, again, since we're halfway across the ocean. Japan isn't a place that's high on my list of things to see, but since we're out that way, it does make sense. And I don't know what flights cost from Hawaii to any place. I haven't the faintest idea. But I would say if we're saving money for anything, it would be for those kind of trips. I'm sorry. See, I have to get used to this thing again. What craft would you like to try / get better at? Well, I think probably the main thing is that needle painting, the whole embroidery thing that I've talked about before, that I got that White Work book by Trish Burr. So yeah, that's probably the main one. Nothing too fancy or exotic there. If you had to stitch only 3 designers for the rest of your life, who would you choose? This one I think kind of ties in with the if I was on a deserted island, what would I take? I've thought about this in the past, and I've said, if I only could stitch one designer, it would be Plum Street. It would be Brenda Gervais. It would be Heartstring Samplery. It would be Satsuma Street. So it kind of changes, I guess, depending on my mood. Like some of Brenda Gervais is too primitive for me. Some of Heartstring Samplery is too, I'm not into the samplers, the whole reproduction thing, so I like some of her things and not others. Of those 3, I would say Plum Street is probably the biggest one. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. And then, like Satsuma Street, she's coming out with another one. She was showing some pictures of, maybe the drawings of, Hawaii. She's doing Pretty Little Hawaii next. Well, I need to get that one. So yeah, how do you choose just one? Jardin Privé, I showed you guys that Be Mine the other day. I love so many of her patterns as well. So yeah, Long Dog Samplers, those could last you a while. Chatelaine. I was looking at Sampler Fusion again this morning by Sampler Cove. Got to get that one in my life. So yeah, sorry, again, can't pick just one. Moving on. Oh, well, no, one of the, I'm saying no because there's questions like, you have unlimited income, what does your dream house look like? Well, my dream house is an RV. So, you know, unlimited income. There are some RVs out there that cost, you know, $1 million and more. I don't even like those ones because they're like mansions that you're afraid to touch anything in. They're just not our style. So yeah, I'm afraid unlimited income and dream house doesn't really work in my life. I've got to bring my scissors in. So we'll use our little kid scissors that we have here. So yeah, see, some of these they're just not relevant to me. And maybe it's just where I am in my life, the stage of my life I'm in. But I think that is going to do it. We are at 44 minutes. So I am going to wrap this up. I have to get ready. Oh, yeah, it's almost 10:30. I have to get ready and to head out for my appointment. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully I'll get more of this done today and have something more to show you next week. My next video will be probably Tuesday, with my update. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Find joy in all the stuff you're doing. Just find the joy in your life and celebrate it. Take care, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.